I want to shift focus to the other tragic story of a young girl named Nikki from Greater Noida, just not too far away from here. She was allegedly set on fire by her own husband and husband's family members. Now, the husband and his family members, his mother, his father, his brother, who are all co-accomplices in this brutal, in this ghastly, absolutely disgusting crime, they've all been arrested. They've all been sent to custody. While initially this was thought of as a case of dowry harassment, that's what Nikki's family has also been alleging, that Vipin, who is the husband, and his family had been asking for 36 lakh rupees, which was meant to be given as dowry. Now, much more information is coming to light. Nikki and her sister Kanchan used to run a parlor, which apparently was very popular in that area. They started earning money independently. More importantly, they also built up a fair social media presence through Instagram Reels and other social media presence, which the accused husband and his family members did not like. So basically, here were two young, financially independent women who were putting themselves out there, who were being assertive, who were garnering a social media presence. The question is, how can a husband be so insecure that he would go to the extent of burning his own wife, allegedly, killing her, burning her to death, because he happens to be insecure and he lives in a society where women are killed just for asserting themselves.
सर, जो बच्चा मौजूद है वहाँ, जो मेरी बिटिया दूसरी मौजूद है, और आप इंस्टाग्राम पे वहाँ पे देख रहे हो वीडियो सार वायरल हो रही है कि जलती हुई बिटिया आ रही है ऊपर से, और ये बच्चे इनको लेके भाग रहे हैं। मैं भी फैमिली वाला हूँ, आप लोग सब फैमिली वाले हैं। जो अपने बेचा को ठोकर भी लग जाती है ना, उसे भी डॉक्टर के लेके भगता, बुखार हो जाता तब भी डॉक्टर के लेके भगता। ये उस बेटिया को तड़पती हुई को छोड़ के सारे परिवार वाले बेटी को छोड़ के घर पे, और ये सब लोग फरार हो गए। ब्यूटी पार्लर को 4 साल हो गए, रिवल इसने ही काटा था। जो ये आज यूँ कह रहा कि ये हमने नहीं किया। एक मुद्दा लिया जा रहा कि इंस्टाग्राम मैं भी गार्डियन का काम कर रहा हूँ, इंस्टाग्राम पे तो मैं भी आऊँगा। वो ना चला रही इंस्टाग्राम, इस जो दया है ना, ये इनकी सास, वो इंस्टाग्राम चला रही है। उसका क्या बिजनेस है, क्या धंधा? ये बहू मरवाने का, बेटी मरवाने का, बेटी जलवाने का।
मारिए? हाँ। ना मैंने कुछ किया है, अपने आप मरी है।
आप पहले भी मारपीट करते थे उससे?
मियाँ बीवी में हर जगह लड़ाई होती रहती है, ये कोई आम बात नहीं है।
क्या और वो अपने आप लगाई?
बस मुझे और कुछ नहीं पता ना।
पछतावा है?
नहीं, हाँ बहुत पछतावा है।
He's saying he did not kill her and that she had nothing to do with, he had nothing to do with the final moments when she was allegedly burnt alive. And those videos are out there. That family was staying together. Somebody has captured that on the footage. Her sister was next to her. The sister, you can see, is screaming. And just before she is set on fire, you can see the husband there dragging her, pulling her by the hair, beating her, slapping her. And then, of course, he allegedly poured paint thinner on her and then burnt her to death. So here's what, what has been happening, the sequence of events, as it were. The family of the victim is saying that this whole thing was around dowry and about 30 odd lakhs, which the groom's family, the accused husband's family, was still demanding. What they've already given, they've given a Scorpio Jeep, they've given a Royal Enfield Bullet, they've given cash, gold, other gifts. And these are two people who'd been married for a period of time. It's not like they got recently married. They even have a child. The mother-in-law, it's being alleged, was asking for 35 lakh rupees in dowry demand. This is one part of it. The other part of it is that they had started an independent business, a parlor. They were earning their own money and they were building a social media following on Instagram, all of which the accused husband and his family apparently did not like. Kiran Bedi is now joining us, former Lieutenant Governor of Pondicherry, former IPS officer. Ma'am, thank you very much. I want to deal with this in two parts. First, I want to talk about what was initially thought to be the headline, and that is that this is a case of dowry death. Here's a man who has gone to the extent of pouring paint thinner on his wife and burning her to death, apparently because of a dowry dispute. That's what was initially ascertained. I mean, how can this even be possible in 21st century India? We're in 2025, where a husband can go to the extent of burning his wife to death in front of his own child because apparently he feels aggrieved that some money has not come or some dowry has not been paid. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's an act, to my mind, it appears to be an act of extreme greed. the greed which had overtaken him, because it's consistently showing the demands for dowry. It started with a lot of receiving of money from their parents. It started with that. And that also shows that they've been constantly paying. And that also shows that the demand remains, because the sister has said that. The sister, who was also there, equally married to the younger brother, is saying that their demand was there. It's a case of extreme greed. And to get rid of her and then marry again. Because the man, I think, was suffering for a terribly bad character of all kinds, all sorts. And I don't think he wanted her to be around. But she was an obstruction, maybe, now to remarry and get more money. And I'll tell you, many of these beggar husbands, begging, they are beggars. These beggar husbands or beggar son-in-law are doing this to remarry for more dowry. And very foolish parents around in our country, in our society, are offering their daughter also in such cases, because they are also waiting to get rid of their daughters, to move out of their home, to go in to marry their own sons again, to get another daughter-in-law. I'm telling you, marriage in India for women is a nightmare.
So tell me, ma'am, we've had an explicit law to deal with this problem of dowry debts, and it's one of the stringent provisions of law. We've had 498A when IPC was around. Now in the BNS, it's a different section, but it's a very, very stringent provision. It's been on the books for God knows 20 plus years now. And yet, this problem continues to be rampant, as you said. So then, what more can be done?
Well, what more can be done? Very interesting. Corruption Act, when there's a giver and a receiver and both are together in it, what can you do? Similarly, in dowry, where there's a giver and a receiver and there's nothing exposed and they continue to suffer in silence, what can you do? Unless you have women complaining against. I think what you really need is a re-education of the woman, because you are not able to re-educate the man. But I think it's an re-education of the woman to be strong, to say, I'm not getting married if there's a demand of dowry. Or we have better enlightened boys to tell his parents, I'm not marrying if you demand a dowry from me. So it's a girl and the boy. That means the new age generation, which have to oppose their parents. Girl from surrendering and submitting for dowry demands. Boy from holding the parents back. Unless you have a new generation which hates this. But you're not having this. You are having literate graduates, and you have also weak women who are wanting to settle and submit to their parents' compulsion that the daughters have to marry.
But
so
I also want your thoughts.
Unless you have a new generation.
I also want your thoughts. One of the other things that's now coming to light is the dowry harassment was one part of it. The other part of it was both of these sisters, Nikki and Kanchan, were running a very successful parlor around their house, around that vicinity. It was very successful. And they had also built up this social media presence through Instagram and Reels and so on, which again, apparently the husband and his family did not like. Again, what you come to see is you have women who are becoming financially independent, who are asserting themselves, and suddenly, for these beggar husbands, as you call them, that seems to be unacceptable.
That basically means financial independence did not make them brave. Financial independence did not make them self-reliant. They were getting beaten. Why were they not rebelling? What kept them back from leaving their home? What kept them back from going to the police and getting dowry cases registered or domestic violence registered? What? Just because you have a parlor and you're having an income doesn't make you confident enough, dignified enough, or self-reliant enough. She is depending. Why is she suffering from this nonsense of dowry demands and domestic violence all the time? Take the son and walk away. Take the son and walk away. Go back to the parents. If the parents accept you, fine. Otherwise, find your own place. You're self-reliant financially. Open a little. Go live in a tented place. I think this has not changed. She is earning, but earning doesn't make her a brave girl. She is not complaining.
All right.
Has she complained? Made a single complaint?
All right, ma'am, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. That's a valid point. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Obviously, no one in their right minds would say that this is acceptable behavior, that a man in this day and age would, set his wife on fire allegedly because of, the fact that he feels aggrieved that some amount of money has not come his way. But even more so than that, there's also the issue of what about the victim's family? I mean, they knew that this was going on. They knew this for a number of years. At one point, both the sisters had left the sasural, as it were, the in-laws' house, gone back to their house, and yet some kind of rapprochement happened and they were brought back. So what kind of parents would put their daughters through that?